very good evening. You are watching Rajya Sabha television. I'm Smriti Rastogi with news tonight. Let's begin the bulletin with the top headlines. B.S. Yedurappa, confident of proving majority, announces farm loan waiver of up to 1 lakh rupees as his first decision after taking charge. Congress JDS term Yedurappa swearing in as a mockery of constitution. In a ripple effect of political situation in Karnataka, Congress in Goa and RJD in Bihar seek appointment with governors, decide to stake claim to form the government as the single largest party. Counting of votes for West Bengal Panchayat polls underway. TMC takes definitive lead, winning more than 9,000 seats. BJP emerges as the main challenger with over 2,000 seats. CPIM and Congress trailing at distant third and fourth positions. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu lays foundation stone of state-of-the-art World Trade Center in New Delhi, says cities are drivers of economic growth, underscores the need for sustainable development. Indian women's hockey team in the final of the Women's Asian Championship Trophy, beating Malaysia 3-2. Will take on host South Korea in the final pool match on Saturday before Sunday's final. First, the big news of the day. Amid protest by the Congress and JDS leader, B.S. Yedurappa took oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka on on Thursday. Yedurappa now has 15 days to win trust vote in the state assembly. Yedurappa's swearing in was cleared by the Supreme Court in an overnight hearing. Now the apex court has asked the BJP to present before it the letter submitted to the governor proving its numbers.
After day and night long court drama, BJP leader B.S. Yedurappa took oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. The oath was administered by Governor Vajpayee, who has given Yedurappa 15 days to prove majority in the State Assembly. After taking oath, Yedurappa expressed confidence of proving majority and said that the BJP is in touch with like-minded MLAs of the Congress and the JDS.
I regret that the Congress and JDS have formed a unholy alliance after the election, though people have outrightly rejected both these parties. I am sure of winning the vote of confidence, and I am going to complete 5 years term.
Several Congress and JDS leaders protested outside the Vidhan Saud in Bengaluru following Yedurappa's swearing in. JDS President H.D. Kumaraswamy accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of demolishing democracy in the country. Addressing the public in Raipur, Congress President Rahul Gandhi alleged the constitution was under severe attack.
जबरदस्त आक्रमण हो रहा है। आपने कर्नाटक में देखा, एमएलए एक तरफ खड़े हैं और गवर्नर दूसरी तरफ खड़े हैं। और आप जानते हो कोशिश क्या है?
Narendra Modi's government, they want to demolish the democracy in this country. Narendra Modi's government misusing entire institutions of central government.
Earlier, after hearing arguments for over 3.5 hours post-midnight, the Supreme Court refused to stay Yedurappa's swearing in. But the Supreme Court bench clarified that the swearing in and the government formation would be subject to the final outcome of the case before it. The Supreme Court ordered the BJP to present a letter of support from the MLAs presented to the governor in the next hearing on Friday at 10:30 a.m.
गवर्नर साहब को डिस्क्रिशन है कि लार्जेस्ट पार्टी को बुलाएं और उन्होंने लार्जेस्ट पार्टी को बुलाया है। लार्जेस्ट पार्टी अगर सरकार बना सकती है तो बनाएगी, नहीं बना सकती तो दूसरी पार्टी को मौका दिया जाएगा।
अदालत समझ गई है कि ये कार्य गलत हुआ है और उनके पास माइनॉरिटी है और वो इस तरह से उनको बुलाया नहीं जाना चाहिए था, किंतु उन्होंने कहा कि अभी हम शपथ ग्रहण में किसी प्रकार से उसको डेफर नहीं करते, होने दीजिए कल सुबह 10:30 बजे रखा है और ये कहा है कि येदियुरप्पा जी ने जो चिट्ठी 15 मई की लिखी थी राज्यपाल को, उसको पेश की जाए।
The BJP has secured 104 seats in elections for 222 seats in Karnataka. The party missed the majority mark by 8 seats, giving the JDS and the Congress a chance to come together to form the government. The JDS and its ally BSP won 38 seats, while the Congress got 78 seats. The Karnataka governor had invited the BJP on Wednesday to form the government in the state, prompting the Congress and the JDS to move the Supreme Court. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, amid speculations of horse trading ahead of the floor test, the Congress and JDS will move its MLAs out of Karnataka. Our correspondent Panchanan Mishra sent us this report from the resort in Bengaluru, where Congress MLAs are currently lodged.
We are at the Eagleton Resort, which is in the outskirts of Bengaluru city, and the same resort where the Congress is claiming to have kept all his 78 MLAs. And this resort politics is not very new in the Karnataka, as the Congress, it's earlier cases where in Rajya Sabha election where Ahmed Patel was the candidate and Congress has taken his MLAs from Gujarat to this same Eagleton Resort. So this is the reality of Karnataka politics and especially the Congress party. And now it is the news that from here these Congress MLAs can be taken to Kerala ahead of the trust vote in Karnataka Assembly. So this is the case of this type of resort politics, and it is very disappointed that the MPs, MLAs who are making the constitution and amending the constitution are being taken in these type of resorts. It's also looking very abrupt in Karnataka politics. In Bengaluru with Anirban, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
And senior lawyer Ram Jethmalani moved the Supreme Court on Thursday, challenging Karnataka Governor Vajubhai Vala's decision to invite BJP to form the government. Calling the move a gross abuse of constitutional power, Jethmalani said that he has not come before the court in favour or against any party, but in his personal capacity to challenge the order. A bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra said that a 3-judge special bench, which had heard the matter in the early hours on Thursday, would hear the matter on Friday. And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent Panchanan Mishra, who is joining us from Bengaluru. Panchanan, a very interesting day it turned out to be, with B.S. Yediyurappa taking oath as the Chief Minister of Karnataka. And the Congress and JDS also protested against his swearing in front of Vidhan Sabha. And of course, various ups and downs which occurred in Bengaluru through the day. And we also got to know the news of horse trading and resort hopping by the Congress and JDS. Give us the details on what exactly transpired through the day in Bengaluru.
Yes, Smriti, there was certainly very up and down since last 2 days, and today finally Yediyurappa took the swearing-in ceremony and he became the Chief Minister third time of the state. But the challenge lies ahead for the Yediyurappa because the governor has given him 15 days time to prove the majority, but BJP wanted it to do it early. And also there is a crucial hearing tomorrow in Supreme Court that will be, the BJP is taking a close eye on that because if for any adversity they are going to be prepared. On the other hand, the Congress and JDS, who are regularly challenging the government, and they staged the protest just after the swearing-in ceremony in the assembly hall, in the assembly premises, in front of Gandhi statue. So they are trying every bit to corner the BJP government, and they are alleging that there is a horse trading, so that due to this fear, they have lodged their MLAs in the Eagleton Resort, and the Congress MLAs and the JDS MLAs are in a hotel in Bengaluru. Now they are planning to shift their MLAs ahead of the trust vote because they are fearing that there may be a horse trading or poaching of the MLAs. So the situation is quite dramatic here in Karnataka, and it's not new to the Karnataka because we have seen in the last elections also that there are certain type of, you can say the developments are regularly seen in Karnataka elections. But certainly the action is going to be happen for the few more days, I think, and we are keeping a close eye on that, and will let you update it.
Thank you so much, Panchanan, for giving us all those details and ground scenario, which is exactly shaping up in Bengaluru. And moving on, the Karnataka governor's decision to invite the BJP to form the government on the ground. that it emerged as the single largest party is having a ripple effect. The Congress in Goa and Manipur and the RJD in Bihar have decided to approach the state governors and stake claim for the government formation. Both parties emerged as single largest parties in their respective state elections. State units of Congress in Goa and Manipur have sought appointments from their respective state governors. They say there can't be different rules for different states. In the Goa Assembly elections held in March last year, the Congress bagged 17 seats in the 40-member assembly, falling short of the majority figure by 4 seats. With 14 seats, the BJP formed the government in alliance with Goa Forward Party and MGP, both of which had secured 3 seats each. 3 independents also went with the BJP. In Manipur, the Congress had won 28 seats in the 60-member house, while the BJP got 21. The BJP formed the government in the state for the first time by joining hands with regional parties. In Bihar, the RJD emerged as the single largest party with 80 seats. At present, the JDU-BJP alliance together with other allies have 131 seats in the 243 assembly.
हमारी मांगे हम गवर्नर के सामने रखेंगे कि भाई हमारी जो है हमें सरकार फॉर्म करने का मौका दिया जाए, हमारे गोवा को जो है कांग्रेस का सीएम दिया जाए बहुत जल्द.
Since ours in the last assembly election, ours is the single largest party. So since in the Karnataka, to the single largest party, that is BJP, they have given the chance for formation of government. Why not for us also?
कर्नाटका में सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी को न्योता मिला वो सही है, या बिहार में जिस तरह से पोस्ट पोल अलायंस जो बना, जो जनादेश का अपमान हुआ, वो सही था? अगर वो कर्नाटका की बात को सही मानते हैं तो यानी इसका ये मतलब है कि बिहार में वो मानते हैं कि उनसे गलती हुई है, गलत काम किया है उन्होंने, क्योंकि सिंगल लार्जेस्ट पार्टी राष्ट्रीय जनता दल है.
BJP President Amit Shah called on the party workers and leaders to be ready to work tirelessly for the party. The national executive meet of the BJP was aimed at toning up the party's organizational machinery in the run-up to the next Lok Sabha elections.
The BJP has started its Mission 2050 by strategizing on how to strengthen the party across the country. The party has entrusted its 7 national executives with the responsibility of leading the mission. In the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Party President Amit Shah asked all the national executives, the OBC Front, Minority Front, SC Morcha, ST Morcha, Mahila Morcha, Kisan Morcha and the Yuva Morcha to start work on the mission. While addressing the meet, Amit Shah said that heads of all these fronts must work unitedly to achieve Mission 2050.
आने वाले 1 वर्ष में इन 22 करोड़ परिवारों तक संपर्क करने का काम पार्टी के सभी मोर्चे करेंगे और इसके लिए एक समन्वित योजना बनाने का कार्य भी हुआ है. सभी मोर्चे पार्टी की गतिविधियों, मोर्चे की गतिविधियों को कनेक्ट करने के लिए मंडल और बूथ स्तर तक के मोर्चे के हमारे पदाधिकारी नमो ऐप से जुड़ करके अपनी गतिविधियों को आपस में देश भर में भी शेयर करेंगे और पार्टी के जो 22 करोड़ परिवारों का जो संपर्क का विषय है उसको भी पूरा करेंगे.
Amit Shah informed party workers that in the past 4 years, the government has worked tirelessly to bring about change in the lives of the poor and their families. Referring to the party's objectives, he said that the BJP's goal is not limited to government formation, but it is to establish India as a respected nation in the world. Prime Minister Modi also addressed the concluding session of the meeting.
पार्टी के मिशन और पार्टी के लक्ष्यों को रेखांकित करते हुए उन्होंने कहा कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लिए शासन का मतलब लोगों की और देश की सेवा को प्रथम मानना और देश को प्रथम मानना, इस लक्ष्य के साथ कार्य करना होता है और इसलिए पार्टी के संगठन का विस्तार पार्टी के मोर्चे अपने अपने क्षेत्रों में करें.
Setting the agenda for next year's Lok Sabha polls, Shah exhorted party workers to use their organizational machinery to share the union government's successes with the masses. With inputs from Mohammad Fateh Tipu, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And Finance Minister Piyush Goyal held a meeting with the heads of 11 state-run banks on Thursday to review their plans to come out of the Reserve Bank of India's prompt corrective action framework. Finance Minister vowed to quickly put on track the banking sector and alleged that the reckless lending initiated under the last UPA regime resulted in banking sector getting financially stressed. Finance Minister Piyush Goyal held a meeting with the heads of 11 public sector banks after the RBI put curbs on them to improve their financial health. Goyal asserted that the government would ensure that every possible support is given to strengthen these banks to come out of the prompt corrective action framework.
Over the next few days, we'll ensure that the central government gives every possible support to further strengthen the resolve of these banks to come out of PCA framework as quickly as is possible.
Goyal exuded confidence that public sector banks, which have played a very important role in the country's development, will be able to overcome these legacy issues in a very short period of time.
Be able to continue to serve the common man through more aggressive banking, maintaining the highest standards of ethics and integrity.
11 banks, Dena Bank, Central Bank of India, Bank of Maharashtra, IDBI Bank, UCO Bank, Oriental Bank of Commerce, Indian Overseas Bank, Corporation Bank, Bank of India, Allahabad Bank and United Bank of India have been placed under the Reserve Bank of India's prompt corrective action framework. The PCA action is initiated against the banks which have high net non-performing assets and negative return on assets for 2 consecutive years. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV. The 15th Finance Commission interacted with the economists and domain experts on Thursday. The leading economist agreed that permissible limits on borrowing under fiscal consolidation roadmap needed to be equally applicable to centre and states in the context of overall macroeconomic framework. Economists further agreed that it would be realistic to use contemporary population data, but weightage should be assigned to population and also rewards for population stabilization policy. Later, Commission also held the first meeting with the Advisory Council to get inputs on various issues under the purview of the Commission. These included methods required for long-term financing of schemes and stabilization of GST. The Supreme Court on Thursday reserved its order on finalization of the Kaveri management scheme. The Apex Court said that it is likely to pronounce the order on Friday. The court said that if it's not possible, then the order will be passed on to May 22nd or 23rd. A bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra said it will consider the suggestions given by all stakeholders while finalizing the Kaveri scheme. Appearing for the centre, Attorney General K.K. Venugopal told the court that the centre has modified the provisions of the scheme that had empowered it to pass directions from time to time with regard to water distribution. Now the news from West Bengal. The Trinamool Congress took a lead in the West Bengal Panchayat polls, bagging 9,270 seats out of over 31,000 seats in the Gram Panchayats across the state. The counting for the West Bengal Panchayat polls is still underway. Meanwhile, the BJP emerged as the main challenger to the ruling party in most districts, winning 2,079 seats and leading in 200 seats, while the CPIM won 562 Gram Panchayat seats and Congress won 315 seats. Independent candidates have won 707 Gram Panchayat seats as per the results available till 2 p.m. There are still the results to come from many areas. The Panchayat elections were held in 20 districts of West Bengal on 14th of May. Now the weather news. Delhi NCR has been hit by a dust storm and light rain again. Winds ranging from 50 to 70 kilometers per hour were accompanied by thunderstorm. The National Disaster Management Authority issued advisory asking people to stay indoors. The Indian Meteorological Department has issued a warning for next 72 hours, anticipating similar weather conditions across large parts of North India, including Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Thursday laid foundation stone for the World Trade Center in Delhi. Addressing the gathering at the event, the Vice President said that besides providing adequate housing, there is a need to create infrastructure and amenities to cater to the needs of the growing urban population.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu said that cities are drivers of economic growth. Addressing the gathering after laying the foundation stone of the World Trade Center at Nauroji Nagar in New Delhi, Vice President Naidu said that people living in cities need to be provided with adequate housing and other essential amenities. He also stressed on the need for sustainable development by protecting the environment and resources.
Besides providing housing to all citizens, we need more roads, more bridges, more highways, more round-the-clock electricity, adequate water supply, waste disposable systems, office and retail spaces, rapid transportation, airports, seaports and other infrastructure to cater to the needs of the bourgeois population.
Vice President Naidu also laid the foundation stone for the redevelopment of the Netaji Nagar General Pool Residential Accommodation Colony. The Vice President said that India is witnessing rapid urbanization and as per projections, over 50% of India's population will be living in cities by 2050. He added that cities and suburbs will undergo significant transformation.
People's expectation is before time. That's why people are restive. That's why the Prime Minister is also restive. So every one of us should understand the aspiration of the people, the development that is long overdue for the people of the country. We must all aim at accelerating that growth.
The World Trade Center in Nauroji Nagar would be developed as a state-of-the-art commercial hub in an area of 25 acres with all modern facilities. The project will be built at a cost of 2,694 crore rupees and will have 12 towers and 10 stories.
This will be a world-class commercial center licensed under the World Trade Center New York, and it will provide facilities which can be termed as first rate by global standards, zero waste, etc.
The decision to build the World Trade Center and redevelop GPRA colonies was taken in July 2016 during the tenure of M. Venkaiah Naidu as Union Housing and Urban Affairs Minister. The redevelopment of 7 GPRA colonies in Delhi is being undertaken at a cost of over 32,000 crore rupees. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The government has increased maternity leaves for the working women in the organized sector from the current 12 weeks to 26 weeks. It was done by passing Maternity Benefit Amendment Bill 2016 in the Parliament. The provisions came into force from April 1st, 2017. They protect the employment of a woman and entitle her to a full paid absence from work to take care of her child. It makes India third on the list of countries with most maternity leaves after Canada and Norway, where it is 50 weeks and 44 weeks respectively. The new provisions, which are an amendment to the Maternity Benefit Act 1961, will benefit around 18 lakh working women across the country.
Lives in Delhi. She is a teacher in a local school. She has 2 kids. 8 years back, she was in deep quandary. She had an infant son to look after and a job to do. It was impossible to do justice to both, and there was no institutional support to bail her out. The situation has now changed with the amendments in the maternity law, giving huge relief to lakhs of working women like Neha. Recently, she became a mother again. This time, luck favored her. As per the new legal provisions, she got 6 months of paid leave from the school to take care of her infant girl. She joined back her duty after completing 6 months. As her child grows with each passing day, Neha now comfortably balances both her roles.
मैंने ये देखा कि पहले में 3 महीने के बाद मुझे अपना स्कूल ज्वाइन करना पड़ा, तो मुझे ये बहुत टेंशन रहती थी कि अब मेरा बच्चा क्या कर रहा है, उसने कुछ खाया पिया है कि नहीं, क्योंकि इस दौरान अब माँ की बहुत अच्छे से ज़रूरत होती है बच्चे को, और वो अच्छे से संभाल सकती है। लेकिन अब दूसरे में अब मुझे 6 मंथ्स का बेनिफिट मिल रहा है। एटलीस्ट मेरा बच्चा इतना होगा कि वो बॉटल फीड पे आ जाएगा और वो अपने आप को थोड़ा सा अपने आप को मैनेज करने लगेगा। तो ये 6 महीने जो हैं, ये इसमें मेरा बच्चा इस लायक हो जाएगा कि मैं उसकी इतनी देखभाल कर सकूं कि हाँ 6 महीने के बाद मुझे तसल्ली रहेगी कि वो अब अपनी देखभाल अपने थोड़ा सा उस पर आ जाएगा कि कोई और भी उसको संभाल सके।
Nuclear families are a new reality in big cities these days. Aarti and her husband are part of this growing fraternity. They live in Delhi. Aarti works in a private company. She underwent many sleepless nights during her pregnancy days, mulling over an absent support system post-childbirth. Now she's a mother. Those sleepless nights still continue, not because of previous worries, but since her newborn keeps her awake. Aarti is on paid leave. It ensured that her financial and mental stress are history.
6 मंथ के लिए काफ़ी बेनिफिट है, बिकॉज इसमें काफ़ी हमें जाने मिलता है बेबीज़ को। डॉक्टर्स भी बोलते हैं 6 मंथ के लिए बेबी को अपनी दूध देने होते हैं, बट अब जब 6 मंथ का हो गया तो उनकी रूटीन भी पूरी होते हैं, उनकी काफ़ी देख सकते हैं हम दोनों ही कंपनी, बिकॉज बेबी 6 मंथ में सबको जानने लगते हैं, पहचानते हैं, तो किसी पे भी रह सकते हैं। पर 3 मंथ में नहीं होता है सर, जैसे वो अपनी मोम के अलावा कहीं और नहीं रह पाते हैं और काफ़ी कुछ हो जाता है, बीमार होते हैं बेबी काफ़ी, बट 6 मंथ काफ़ी अच्छा है।
हम एक तरीके से फाइनेंशियल अपना मतलब जो भी डिसीज़न है मेरी वाइफ ले सकती है और स्ट्रांग हो सकते हैं इससे, और काफ़ी सारे बेनिफिट है कि अभी मतलब 3 महीने में ये था कि भाई मैं अगर मेरी वाइफ जॉब स्विच छोड़ना चाह रही है तो उसमें मतलब लॉस था, लेकिन अभी जो है 6 महीने का जो मतलब है उससे बेनिफिट है कि मतलब आगे हमारा बच्चा इतना उस काबिल हो सकता है कि हम उसे किसी अपनी फैमिली मेम्बर्स को दे सकते हैं। जॉब का छोड़ने का मतलब अगर आगे से कंटिन्यू करना चाहती है तो वो आगे कंटिन्यू कर सकती है।
Maternity Benefit Amendment Bill 2016 became law after getting presidential assent in March 2017. The important takeaways of this law are: women in organized sector entitled to paid maternity leaves of 26 weeks up from 12 weeks. Maternity leave of 12 weeks to mothers adopting a child below the age of 3 months. Mandatory for every establishment with more than 50 employees to provide crèche facilities within a prescribed distance. The law applicable to all establishments employing 10 or more people. Employer can permit a woman to work from home if the nature of work assigned permits her to do so. This option can be availed of after the period of maternity leave. Medical Fraternity too has given thumbs up to this bright social initiative by the government, which promotes mother-child health and strengthens the institution of family.
हमारे देश में 90% औरतों को अनीमिया है, खून की कमी है, और डिलीवरी के बाद ये प्रॉब्लम बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाती है। 3 महीने टाइम ही नहीं है कि ये रिकवरी हो सके। तो अगर आप 6 महीने का टाइम दे औरत को इससे रिकवर करने के लिए, तो वो उसकी हेल्थ पे बहुत ज़्यादा उसका पॉजिटिव इफ़ेक्ट होता है, मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा फ़ायदा होता है। उसमें बच्चे को एक्सक्लूसिव ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग मिनिमम 4 से 6 महीने की ज़रूरत है ही, मैंडेटरी है।
Today, India is far ahead of many Western countries on the issue of paid leaves, like USA 2.6 weeks, Britain 12.2 weeks, Australia 7.6 weeks, Spain 16 weeks, France 18 weeks, Italy 25.2 weeks.
Giving relief to working mothers, Narendra Modi government has accepted the amendments in the maternity bill. Now the working mothers will get 26 weeks of paid leave during their maternity phase. This will benefit working mothers both personally and professionally. With video journalist Vijay, Anu Diwan for Rajya Sabha TV.
And now the sports news. Indian women's hockey team entered finals of the Asia Championship Trophy after defeating Malaysia 3-2. This was India's third consecutive victory in the tournament and are on the top of the table with 9 points. Gurjeet Kaur, Vandana Kataria and Lalrim Saimi were among the goal scorers from the Indian side, while Noorani Rashid and Hanis On scored for Malaysia. The Indian team will next face host South Korea in their final pool match on Saturday before Sunday's final. And that's all we have for you in this edition of News Tonight. Keep watching Rajya Sabha Television.